Okay, this is part two, so I will finish that thought. And the thought was I was using my middle, like kind of what I'm doing right now. I was using my middle values to add in some wrinkles on the cheek. I don't know if you could see that. And all I did was I didn't like do any lines. I just kind of patted in between the darker areas to give the illusion that there's a little bit of dimpling in the skin without having to do any like lines. So that is another method, but right now I'm using a liner brush to really, it must be like those wrinkles must really be in the shadows. So by using a liner brush, you're pushing the intensity of the shadow. And another thing too is it's totally fine to do this, like to add these dark layers right off the bat. Just keep in mind though that later on you will have to soften them. So if this is something, if it makes you feel more comfortable getting those dark shadows in to begin with, then like absolutely do it. Whatever is going to make it easier for you to see what you're working on. And then later you can just soften it in with a little bit of like a mid value, like a mid-tone transparent layer to soften that. And again, I'm using my blender brush to add paint in. When normally I would use my blender brush to kind of soften edges of paint, but I'm actually using it to paint directly because it's adding in like a softness. And like I mentioned before about how I did that dimpling, or how I created that effect of like some skin that is sort of like not completely in a wrinkle, but it's kind of creating a little bit of a wave. By using this and using just small pats onto the dark tone and adding a little bit of a lighter value, as you can see on her, like if we're looking at it on the left hand side cheek, where some of the, it looks as though there's a texture there, and it's a soft texture. It's not like, we're not painting gravel, we're painting skin, so it should all be very soft. That's something to keep in mind too, especially because humans are consistently moving. So we want to make sure that we are giving the illusion that this person is moving, is alive, is you know, like, and in a way we really do want to look at the old Impressionist masters for ideas about how we can make portraits feel like we're looking at someone who is moving, alive, and I think we'll see how that turns out. I kind of went off the deep end there. Hopefully you understand what I'm saying though. And it's really hard to see, but I can tell you what I'm doing here since I don't think you can see it. And that is, I'm just adding more of the shadows that are underneath the hair. Her hair is white, so it's still important to note that even though someone has white hair, you still have to put a darker value shadow underneath white hair. And you're probably thinking, well, what about the gray gesso? Yes, if you left it like that, you would. So yeah, I mean, the gray gesso, we have to think of the gray gesso as like almost your local color. So it's like that mid. So if we were putting a shadow underneath the hair, we would still have to darken it a little bit because it means that there was no light being shining in that area. It was creating a shadow. So it's good to always go a little bit darker underneath the hair where you see it. Don't just put it everywhere. Definitely refer to your photograph or the subject that you're painting. I am using my blender brush to create the softness of this sweater. And I didn't realize that I did this, but I really like this effect. I'm glad I'm watching this right now because it's really sticking with me that I did this. And this blender brush has a nice point to it, so it's really good to add in texture. And even though there is a point, it's still soft, so can get the illusion of a soft sweater like I'm doing right now. It looks almost like a wool sweater. Same with hair though. That should be the theme of this painting, I think, is like really pushing softness throughout. If I painted this whole thing with the blender brush, I wouldn't be surprised. Because as you can see right now too, those lines on the wrinkles down here, they don't look real right now. They don't look realistic. They're too harsh. Oh, it looks like I heard myself from the future. So I'm starting to go in and soften those wrinkles. Even though those lines don't look real right now, if I did leave them as is, I wouldn't be like worried. Well, I mean, I know the outcome, but I wouldn't be worried because we still have to add our color glazes as well. And that will also soften the lines. One of the best things about painting in layers is you always have the opportunity to fix anything by just adding another layer. I'm pushing in some of those dark values again. I think it's really important to me that like perhaps I lost some of it. I'm not looking at the picture either. So I will see you in the next video.